Hello. So, okay, a little correction. Um, I thought, anyways, this is number 12. I'm not listing I'm listing all of the chapters by names, but not by numbers. There's no numbers for the chapters. They just go as long as they go. There's no numbers on them. And but here I am. I'm listing them at the beginning, at the title. So this will be listed number 12, sorry. Lots been going on with me. If you have not seen the very first one, go back. They pretty much all stay in the numbers. That's why I'm putting the numbers of them. So this is number 12, and it starts at 1 and then goes through, because I went back and edited them to make sure that they all start out that way in the title, so you can see it right up front and then know if you've already done 11, now it's 12. If you haven't done these, if you haven't done 11 or anything else, go back to 1. Okay. Because I don't want to ruin it for anybody. And I'm kind of haven't received any feedback from anybody so far. No comments really. I have been getting some thumbs up, and that's great. That lets me know that somebody's out there watching. I might just read story 1 and then let y'all do story 2 on your own, or let me know in the comments, please, because I'm kind of like teetering between, do I really have time to do this if nobody's showing me that they're out there? I don't have to read this to myself. So if you're liking it, fine. Let me know too. Please continue, or give me a thumbs up in the comments. Whatever it is, whatever you decide to say to let me know that you're there and who you are, so I'll keep going. Otherwise, I might get to a part in here where you might have to just go buy this by yourself and finish reading it. I'm not trying to be snot. I'm just not really feeling too good right now. I've been going through some emotional things here around me, and trying to deal with that by keeping busy. So let's see about how far can we go. This one is pretty long. Music Mountain Road, Stockbridge, Vermont. Kyle MacKay's point of view. This is number 12. I am one of 45 high school students from Killington Mountain High School. Every year we have a winter break up at 1141 Music Mountain Sky and Winter Sports Resort. Most years we have not had so many students. This was one of our highest numbers of enrollees. This year is my last year as a senior. I am going to attend Pyeongchang 2018 Winter Olympics. I hope I said that right. I will get a big scholarship to go to college of my choice. My mother and father were killed in a highway robbery when I was 6. I have lived with my aunt and uncle here in Stockbridge, Vermont for 11 years. It is not too bad. I have a few friends in and out of school. Today we are going to enjoy ourselves outdoors. There is talk of snowstorm coming and we need to get some fresh air while we can. There has been a drop in the temperature and some light snow. I am a snowboarder specializing in slopestyle. I started to skateboard at age 5, but then my Uncle Thomas took me to a winter sports event and I saw the snowboarding and knew that was for me. I scared Aunt Jane one time by getting my arm broken, but Uncle Thomas told her, "What kid does not get a little stronger in life by a stumble or a fall, or even a broken bone or two?" She washed her hands of it, but still yells the loudest at my competitions in my support. Today a few of my closest friends, Raymond Richardson, Pete Tillman, John Douglas, and Sarah Gibson, the only girl in this year's snowboarding in our class, we're going on a 5-mile hike. We have mapped it out and gotten our okay with Mr. Lanford, who is our instructor for one of the chaperones on the trip. Since there is one chaperone per 10 students, Mr. Langford has 15 and allows us 5 to take a hike unattended because we are all 17 or 18. He has 10 who are 15 and 16, and they do not want to go on a hike. We like to take a look at the backcountry before the snow comes so we can map out any trouble points and just get to know the layout. We have covered a lot of area, possibly 3.5 miles, and found only a few spots that are a bit whack. As we keep walking, Sarah takes photos with her digital camera. We can take a look at them later and plan out our danger spots. The air is chilling and we walk in silence, only because it is easier to talk less and move more. We will have more time to talk later over hot chocolate and coffee. "Hey, Stick, look over here." They call me Stick for 2 reasons. One, I am 6 foot and weigh 149. And I am thin as a stick, but I have a record for landing perfectly, known as Stick. My real name is Kyle MacKay. John has called my attention to what looks like bright reddish liquid in the snow and mud. There is only a couple of inches of snow. Everyone comes to take a look. "Blood," Pete says. "Calm down. Maybe it was an animal kill of some sort. Don't." Sarah is taking photos of footprints in and out of the blood. Now that we all look at it, I can see that there are human footprints and look the same. That some sort of struggle happened here. Not too long ago, the blood was still bright and had not melted very deep into the inch or so of snow, nor had it frozen. But there is a form of a body. It looks like some odd form of a snow angel, a very gruesome one. There are a few different looking footprints all around the body, and then they sort of shuffle aside and slide away from where the body lay. "Sarah, take photos of all of this. I think we better head back to show these to Mr. Hill." She agrees and clicks away. The guys and I stand around looking for more clues. We have decided this is mostly a murder scene and are consumed by the reality of how close we are to someone's death. For me, It is nothing that I have never seen before. I was present when my parents were carjacked and murdered on Highway 100 near where we are. The robbers did not see me in the back seat. They robbed my mom and dad of things they had on them. I guess they needed gas and food money, though the price of losing my parents was too high. I can never forget peeking out the foggy window and seeing the blast from the gun and my parents falling into the mud. It had been raining and it was cold. I had no way to get home. I hid on the floor of the car after I heard the shots. I did not know what would happen to me. After the robbers left, I honked the horn of the car loud and as long as I could. I did not know how lucky I was that we were close to a farmhouse, and Mr. Snyder was coming home and heard our car horn and followed it to a terrible scene. A scared 6-year-old boy and his parents shot to death near the road. I pulled myself out of that scene. We do not know what happened here, so let's not touch anything. We got to get this back to the resort and to the teachers. Raymond and John tried to argue with me. They want to stay and map out the back country. But I remind them that who and whatever did this might still be out here. Ray and John are both the rough and rugged boys who know how to take care of themselves. But Sarah tells them that we are supposed to stay together and we can always come back after we have the photos of the sheriffs and let them deal with it. I thought they were going to argue about it some more, but we all fell silent when we heard something growling from inside the wooded area off path about 15 feet from where we stood. It was an eerie and human sounding, not like a wolf or other animal. Pete is always afraid of the unknown. Dudes, let's get the fuck out of here. He starts back on the way we came. Stop, wait. What if it's a person who got hurt here? Maybe they need help, I suggest. If Mr. Snyder had not checked on my horn honking, I would have died, probably. And it's getting much colder than when I left the scene of my parents' murder. When I was left at the scene of my parents' murder. Sarah and Ray and John agree, so Pete stops. I call out into the woods where we had heard the growling. Arr, 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 comes as sort of a reply. See, someone sounds hurt, I say, and step closer. Dudes, get out of here, Pete insists. Pete always has some sort of theories. Most are conspiracy types, Bigfoot, alien, even zombies. His mind is out in Fruit Loopville. Dude, shut up. We gotta check this out, Ray says. Hey, who's out there? Call out so we can hear you. He pauses. Are you okay? Do you need help? We hear snow crunching and twigs breaking as footsteps from some work their way toward us. Pete backs up a few feet behind us. Arrgh, arrgh. A woman about 5 feet comes stumbling out. She looks fucked up. Crap. We all cry out. What the Pete screams. We all look at this woman coming out of the woods. Her entrails are spilling out of her. She is covered in blood and mud and wet snow. Sarah's clicking photos of her as I reach out to pull her back. This is not happening, but it sure the hell is. I am now the closest to her, and she reaches for me. She slips, and I pull away from her grasping fingers. Arr, arr. She smells of rot, and her wounds are covered in flies who eat her flesh and lay eggs in her pus. There are some maggots already wiggling around as they are hatching from eggs. Then I make out the most terrifying thing I have ever seen. She has a swollen belly and something that looks almost human, but very small, half in and half falling out. She is pregnant. The fetus looks like it is almost full term. I have not seen anything like it, and I do not know. And all I know has been from health class and studies. I yell, "Fuck, let's get out of here." I turn to leave, and she reaches for me, grabbing my jacket, and grip slips to my pants. I turned in a panic and pushed her away as firmly yet gently from me. Sarah sees the fetus too and cries out in alarm. John reaches out and pulls me away. We all turn and run, leaving whatever the hell it is laying and thrashing in the snow and mud like a fish that was up on the shore. As we turn to leave, two more people looking worse than she does come from the bushes to the side path. One grabs Pete, who screams at the top of his lungs. Ray picks up a thick tree branch and swings it hard against the thing's head. It meets with a harsh crack of skull, but the other one comes up and grabs me and bites my arm. We both slip in a muddy patch. I grabbed a rock and hit the thing in the head. It falls down, and Ray grabs me, and we run with everyone else, who now turns and runs. Somehow Sarah has managed to take a few photos of this. We try to stay focused and alert in case anything comes from off the trail again. After we run a good distance, we figure out those things have not really started to follow us. If they have, they are super slow. They stop to help me with my wound, but all we have among us in the form of anything helpful is a few panty liners that Sarah helps put on my wound, and although we might have thought of some joke to make of it, we are too panicked to try to say anything. Pete has, for whatever reason, duct tape in his backpack, and they fasten the pads to the wound, and we continue back to the resort. We headed east for a moment, but found out we needed to go more south, so we corrected our path and continue to sprint. We do not want to run into anything. Whatever. Sarah and Pete run ahead to try to get help. They came back with Mr. Hill, and a few other staff came out to assist me. I'm getting weaker by the moment. Sarah shows her photos to Mr. Hill, who takes the camera inside and calls the area sheriffs. Also an ambulance, which is about 22 minutes away or more. The medics are mostly first aid for sports injuries, but do change the pads and clean the wound. They are giving me mild sedative for the pain. Mr. Hill informs that the sheriffs are coming. A manhunt for whatever is in the woods. I fell into a deep sleep. Before the sheriffs and EMT could arrive, there was a quick shift in the weather. It started to rain and snow. It started as rain, but temperature dropped and turned to snow. The sheriff's office was called away to a 12-car pile up and would not be able to get to us for a few hours. All we had were videos, and that was not enough to really show what these things were, because we were shaken and scared as hell. My hand was not steady and the video is blurry and shaking all over the place. The EMT also got called away to a greater emergency, and we were told to keep Kyle's wound clean, continue to monitor it after we could. Hold on. I'm not sure what exactly happened here. There's like a space. So I think that this part here is Sarah's point of view. You won't get to know that if you're reading the book. You'll be slightly confused a little bit. But so anyways, I had a lot of struggles trying to get this written and edited and all of that. But anyways, that's the brief. You'll be able to figure out in a minute that it's Sarah's point of view right now. So that's why it's saying all we had were videos. That was not enough to really show that these things were, because we were shaken and scared as hell. My hand, and that's Sarah, was not ready, not steady, and the video is blurry and shaking. The EMT is also got called away for a greater emergency, and we were told to keep Kyle's wound clean and to continue to monitor it. If it got worse, we should take him to the nearest ER about 20 minutes from here. Mr. Hill could not call his aunt or uncle. They were on holiday in Europe and could not be reached. So Mr. Hill decided to keep him here and keep the dressings cleaned. If anything changed for the worse, they would take him to the hospital. Kyle was guided to the infirmary beds, and the nurse was left to care for him. We all were taken into the meeting room and talked to the principal about what we saw on the reports. He also looked at the photos and the video again. After that, he excused us. We headed for the MPR room for lunch. After seeing what we did, the four of us were not that hungry. We picked at our food, which was not usual for us. "What do you think?" began Pete. But I shushed him. The other students were leaning and trying to listen to every word. I did not want this to turn into a circus. We took our trays and sat further away and did not talk about what happened. Mr. Hill told us to keep it among ourselves so we would not ruin our time or freak any of the other students out. Another local school was coming in 3 days for the preliminary winter high school Olympics. He reminded us this had been planned for several months and the funds for it were spent and non-refundable. Pete would not let it rest. "What do you think those things were?" We all just looked at him. He was hopeless sometimes. "Maybe just some people who were lost and..." "Shut it. Damn, Pete. Can we just sit and not talk?" My tone rose when I was stressed or anxiety, and I was stressing. Sarah to the rescue. I decided to change the subject. "Hey, let's look at our maps and photos and make our layout plans. We sit and get started on looking at my photos. I skip through the ones of whatever it was out there. We try to concentrate on the layout. On the news comes a report about the road and the highway closures, and the storm is headed any time now. There is a list of road closures due to black ice and dangerous conditions in our area. After a while, John decides to take something for Kyle to eat. He says he will be right back. Whew. Okay. So that was one of the long chapters. I'm sorry about that little break in there where I tried to figure out what was going on, but it took me a couple of seconds, really. But yeah, sure, I'm the one who wrote this. Once again, if you do purchase this and you find any, things that you have questioned about, just write to me. I'm pretty sure I've put my email in here. If not, write in the comments, hey, what's going on here? I will surely explain it in even a little mini video if I have to. But how many people do you know that have gone through the stuff I've gone through? Cancer, moving 4 or 5 times, cancer again in my ear, and I also had it here on my eye at one point, my head. I've gone through a lot of shit. So how many people you know that go through all of this stuff while trying to write a video? And basically the only thing was the name of the chapter, because I could tell that there's a space there, but no title. I don't really care. You'll either catch on to it or not. Let me tell you right now, these people are going to stay into chapter 2, but they're not that upfront. They're there, but they're not like the main characters. This book, it has some in story 2. There's some main characters, and they're kind of with the main characters. So anyways, that's that. Okay, so the next one here, I'm going to put 13. So we only did one story here, but that's okay. I mean, one chapter, and it will be listed as 12. Thank you for being here.